And we are back with another JagCast. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Mesquite, Oscar Gonzalez. With us today, well, Jerry Quijano,
I am behind the computer.
He's in the dark right now because apparently Max can't take that many webcams at once. I thought it was supposed to be the best machine for video stuff. Forget
It doesn't seem to be working out for us right now.
No, not in the case of live streaming. Apparently, it has a maximum number of webcams you can use at once. And it's kind of frustrating. But we have a guest. It's Amanda Lozano, the assistant editor of the Mesquite. You can say hi.
Hello.
The camera's right there. You don't have to stare at the camera. You can stare at me, but the camera's right there.
Okay. What do I say?
Hello? Geez, just say hi. So we're bringing Amanda in. So, we usually have guests in, and we have long conversations with them. But also we want to take a step back, and we want to talk with the Mesquite staff, because ideally this is a chance for people that don't know the Mesquite staff to know us, talk to us in a way, and learn more about who we are, why we're pursuing a career in journalism. She's a little shy. And just that we're here to report on what's going on at A&M San Antonio on the south side. So, Amanda.
Yeah. Listen.
All right. Well, let's talk about you real quick. So we have that you're mariachi.
Mm-hmm. I do play mariachi.
And that you worked at La Prensa for 5 years.
I worked there for a good while. And I enjoyed it, honestly.
So tell me about the mariachi thing, because God knows. Jerry, how long have you listened to mariachi music?
Since I was a baby.
I know, same here. Yeah, it's been one of those things. It's not a favorite of mine. But just stop with the look. Stop with the look. I'm just saying it's not a favorite of mine.
Okay.
Just saying it's okay. I'm not saying I hate you. I'm just saying it's not a favorite of mine. Okay, just relax. Okay. I'm not. It's. Okay. So why mariachi music?
Well, I actually started playing mariachi because of high school. There was something called instrument ensemble. I'm like, what is that? They signed me up for it. I didn't know what it was. Had no clue. So when I get to the school, and this is probably about 10th, 11th grade, they're like, it's mariachi. I'm like, mariachi? So
what kind of music did you like then?
Rock and roll. I was a punk, System of a Down, Linkin Park, all that stuff. I used to be just totally into that in high school.
Real punkish with
Limp
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
All of that. And I was real weirdo, just real weird in high school. You'll see pictures of me and be like, ugh, just weird. Anyway, I liked rock and roll, and so they put me in a mariachi class. And what am I gonna do here? It's mariachi. Ew. My mom had done it. My uncle had done it, and so did me. I was like, I don't want to do that.
I just find it weird because here you are getting in a class where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then it's mariachi, but it's like your family's been doing mariachi.
Exactly.
It's like subconsciously maybe you were thinking.
I think so. I think subconsciously it happened that way. But you see, when I got into the class, I was like, oh, this is stupid, and they were like, well, you're gonna play something, and I'm like, whatever. And so I wanted to play the big bass, the guitarrón. And the teacher at the time was like, well, you're too little. Because, I was about 30 pounds lighter. So he was like, you're too little. You can play violin. I didn't want to play violin. He was like, well, you can play the vihuela, the small guitar. And I didn't want to play those. I wanted to play the big fat bass. So I took one from the school. And I went to my uncle, because my uncle plays the bass. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I was like, teach me. So, he did. He taught me where to put my hands. He told me, notes, just kind of do this. And I went to the garage, and, there's albums surrounding this room. Well, my mom has mariachi albums like that. Vicente Fernandez, Javier Solis, and she's got them all. So, study. My uncle showed me where to put my hands. I'd steal her albums from the garage, and I'd play them. And I'd follow along with the bass, just following along. And that's how I learned. So, I started playing at church with my uncle. He's like, I'm getting old, why don't you play at church with me? I'll play guitar, you play bass. So I started doing that. And that's how I started getting the musical experience. So then I'd go back to high school, and all the boys had to play the bass because they were the boys and they had to be so cool about it.
They had to be with the big guitar.
I had to be with the big guitar. So, of course, I went over there and, bam, showed them their place, and I ended up staying as the bass player.
Do you play any instruments, Jerry?
Yes, I do. I play the drums
Oh my
and the
gosh,
guitar.
cool.
So,
I did not know that.
Not at Spurs games, though, like Mandy does.
Oh.
Yeah, if you kind of somewhat recognize Amanda here, she's part of the group that plays during the halftime at Spurs games called
Mariachi Mujer Internacional de los Spurs, which is, international women of the Spurs. So
Can you tell the people the Spurs record when you guys play?
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard this so many times that every time we play, that they win. I am not sure about that, honestly. I've never really kept count of that. I know Express News wrote a story on that. I know Mike Monroe said something. Every time those girls play, they win. I mean, I've yet to see them lose. I mean, they're a good team, so I don't know what to say.
So it's a group of y'all.
It's all girls.
But it's not just like 5 of y'all. It's more than that, right? Or is it just 5?
No, it's 5 of us.
It's just you 5.
It's just us 5.
So again, I don't play an instrument. I'm planning on picking up something one of these days.
Good.
One of these days I'll pick
Good.
up something. I don't know. Maybe the sexy saxophone or something. I don't know. I'll pick up something eventually. But what are things that I see? Because again, I mean that was always the instrument that if we ever made fun of mariachis in high school, that was the instrument we used to make fun of.
The big fat bass.
Because it's very big, and then it's just like you're hugging something big. You're just like that.
Yeah.
But what I see, because I've seen you play it, and it's because when I think bass, I think rock and roll bass, where it's like doom 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 doom. I think that, but I see you and you're like plink 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 plink. You're kind of pulling at it. It's weird. It looks different than sort of the typical electric bass.
Well, yeah, it's very different than an electrical bass.
Right.
Because an electrical bass, you kind of, touch it like that. And a bass, for guitarrón, since it's acoustic, I mean, that's the reason it's so big. If you see a guitarrón, and I should have brought mine in here, you should have asked me. It's in the trunk. Anyway.
And it's pretty big. I don't ask you to carry it around just for the hell of it.
You see, it's pretty light, though. You see, it's a big instrument, but it's hollow inside. And it's got a very big, point, I guess a pico in the back. Because for the bass, for being such a low register, it doesn't pick up as well as something like a violin would. So the back is curved like that, and it's hollow, so that way we'll push the sound back and throw it out there. That's how come it's so loud. Just poof, you hear me playing it.
Google some pictures for people that are watching.
Yeah.
Mandy and her and playing it.
Yeah, and
So-
you have to play it in octaves. You play electric bass and it's kind of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on a guitarrón, you're plucking it because you're playing in octaves. A, D, D, So.
No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But now I can understand why the difference is. Because again, because you have, like I said, you have doom doom, and then you have the, like what's his face from Primus.
Okay. Okay, so we have some pictures up of the guitarrón, so they can see the big pico
big
back, like
freaking guitar.
Does that make it uncomfortable to play?
Absolutely not. I actually reveled in playing something bigger that they were like, "Your girl, why are you playing?"
You just
that?
wanted to be weird.
Maybe a little, but I've always loved the guitarrón. I remember being a little kid. My uncle, we'd go see him at gigs sometimes, and I'm very close to my uncle. He's like my father to me. So I'd see him at gigs, and I'd hear the bass boom, 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 boom. I was just this kid, and you'd feel the vibrations of the bass, like poof, because it's so loud. And I was like, oh, it's so cool, and it was a cool instrument.
She's got to be like the only one that's.
Oh my God, you cannot.
She's got to
say
be.
that.
Because with the mariachi guys, I'm sure like with women, they look at the trumpet guy, of course the guy with the violin, of course the guy singing. I mean, to put it in perspective, the guitar, that's sort of like the guy in the band that plays the tuba.
I think, in my defense, I think tuba is a really cool instrument.
You
have to have some endurance to play that.
It sounds like you've just embarrassed yourself enough, though, that you're willing to embarrass yourself with whatever else, right?
To you guys, that's embarrassing. As a musician, to me, I respect any musician. You play the glockenspiel, you play the violin. Hey, you're playing an instrument. I respect
The hell's the
you.
glockenspiel?
Glockenspiel.
Glockenspiel?
Ding, ding, ding. No.
No.
Like a xylophone?
Telephone, yeah.
Okay.
See, you guys see that like that. So that's kind of superficial.
He plays two instruments. Don't look at me like I'm an
He's
outsider.
a drum player, but yeah, he's like as a musician. When you go out there and you see other people kind of doing something weird, you have to appreciate it. Like somebody took the effort to play tuba. I mean, there's somebody in the world right there that's playing harpsichord. I mean, who's gonna do that? There's somebody out there that's playing trombone. I mean, somebody has to do it, and it might as well be somebody, and you might as well appreciate them for it. You know?
I guess.
That's a pretty good defense.
No, it is, and again, I mean, she is professional. She gets paid for gigs.
Yeah.
Spurs game, for example. How was the first Spurs game that you had to play at?
Oh my God! The first time I played
Because
a Spurs
you do
game.
what, like?
Oh, we do it.
Because it's
regularly.
sometimes they're halftime, sometimes it's halftime, sometimes it's during timeouts.
Halftime, sometimes it's during timeouts. It just really depends on what they want.
On the timeouts, it's like go.
It's 1 minute, and they're like, go out there and play, and we're like, we sit there in the dressing room. Gotta go. When we played for the first time, when I did it on court, I got scared. I've played so many things. I've played at the Houston Rodeo. I've played in New York. I've played all kinds of places, but standing there at the Spurs game, it scared me so much. There's so much going on. I mean, you see Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and all these guys standing there. You see the opposing team, and everybody's just looking at you, and there's so much chaos, and you're looking around, and there's just people everywhere, and they're looking at you, and you see the Jumbotron. It's just huge. I mean, you think it's big, just wait till you stand under it. You feel like an ant. So I was just so scared. And when I played, they have an amazing sound system because, I mean, I just touch it lightly and you hear the whole thing through the AT&T Center. It was just so much going on. I just was so scared and so excited at the same time.
Yeah.
And now when I talk to her, she'll be like, "Hey, I got a Spurs game." Whatever. And then also, like, hey, because sometimes they'll show like during halftime, they'll show a bit of her band, and then people message her right away. Hey, I saw you, and she's like, "I'm already going home. Already going home. Already done. Another day. Got paid. Gonna go."
Pretty much. Sometimes we'll stay once in a while. We stayed during the championship game.
Oh, obviously.
Well, duh. I mean, that was fun. Now, there's times I'll stay. Most of the time, I'll leave. But I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think the best part of it is that once you start going, you start getting familiar with all the staff. I mean, the silver dancers. You start feeling like a little family, And when you get off that stage, I mean, there's sometimes when you do gigs and you can play for 3 hours for people. They look at you, whatever. You can play for 1 minute on that Spurs stage. When you walk off that stage, I mean, the people just cheer. I mean, as you go into the tunnel, you look up and the people are like, "Great job, you did great." High fives all the way down the tunnel. It's just amazing. It feels like a big family.
And then, so with... You've been doing mariachi for so long, for a while. So why journalism?
Mariachi comes into this.
Okay.
Because I was at Palo Alto. I've never gotten financial aid. I've always paid out of pocket, paid out of pocket. If I could afford it, at least making money doing mariachi, doing it. I'll try to pay out of pocket as long as I can before I need financial aid for somewhere like here. So I was paying out of pocket, but mind you, it wasn't a lot. So I was coming part-time. Now this goes back because over at Palo Alto, they have a mariachi program, and I was going to get a scholarship. Unfortunately, it was for full-time students, and I was only coming part-time, so I couldn't get it. So the director over there, Juan Ortiz, God bless him, he got in touch with Mr. Duran, who is the CEO of La Prensa. And Mr. Duran has a scholarship foundation. So this was behind the scenes. I did not know this. So one day, they call us. Juan Ortiz, he's in class, and he's like, "Hey, kids, we're going to have a gig. We're going to play for Mr. Duran's birthday. He's going to have a birthday party at Estelas, and you guys are going to perform, birthday party." And I was like, okay, whatever. So we get there, and I play. And he comes to me. He's like, "For my birthday, I'm going to give this girl the scholarship that she deserves. And I was like, oh, and I just lost it. I just was like so touched. It meant so much to me. So then I got my scholarship. I went to school. I started looking up La Prensa, honestly, because I didn't read newspapers. I mean, I'd read them, but I didn't read La Prensa. I read Express News, the current here and there. So I went there. I found the office, and I talked to Joe Sandoval, the editor. I talked to Ms. Duran, and they were like, okay, I was an English major at the time. I knew nothing about journalism. I wanted to write a book. So I went over to the office, and I said, look, I want to help you because you helped me. Let me help you out. Like, I will come into the office, I'll sweep, I'll clean, I'll do secretary stuff, free of charge. You help me out. It's my turn to give back to you. Mm-hmm. I'll make coffee, whatever you need. And they kind of look at me and they're like, well, why don't you write? And I'm saying, write? What do you mean write? They're like, intern here and do journalism. And I'm thinking about it like, I can't do that. I don't know what journalism is. I don't know, what am I going to do? Go out there and do what? And they were like, you want to help us out? You can intern here, right here. And I was like, okay, that's what you want. So after that, bam, I was at City Hall with Joe Sandoval. He was leading me around, so that's how it happened.
How many years were you at?
I don't know. It's been a good while. It was a good while. I mean,
yeah.
It was a good while, and I just had the best time. I love La Prensa. I love Ms. Duran. I love Nina. I love the whole family. I loved Joe Sandoval. I mean, God bless him, he passed away. He was kind of a hard nose, The hardest time ever, just, oh, you're not doing that right. But in the long run, I realized he was helping me. And I thoroughly enjoyed being at La Prensa. But you have to go to school. You have to get education. You can only go so far with raw talent and learning bit by bit. You have to be, there's so much that raw talent can get you, but you have to have that refinedness of school,
Yeah, it's one of those things like, because, with me and my side, where I was, like, hey, I've been doing this for a while, and they're like, yeah, you don't have a degree.
You don't have a degree, exactly. You could be writing news for 20 years, and if you don't have a degree, they're kind of like, whatever. So I figured, it was a good time to go to school, and I went for journalism. I completely ditched English and decided this was the type of writing I liked. No need to write a 5-page essay on one quote from Shakespeare.
Yeah. Well, that's
English.
That's English. I mean, that's what you got to do. Mm-hmm. All right, so. Let me tell you. I'm gonna talk to Jerry. So you could just stay out of this. So I'm gonna tell you how I met this chick.
Okay.
And like why she's here. Okay.
Oh, too funny.
So I was interning at WellMed. WellMed is I was gonna say military. It's a medical network designed for seniors, and they have clinics all across the city. And in the PR class last spring, I was part of a group that did a presentation. They really liked it. They took me on as intern. I was there for the summer. And my boss one day is like, "Hey, here's Amanda Lozano." I'm like, "What's up?" And I just went back to work and then like a couple of days later, she comes around. I'm talking to my boss because at the end of the day, me and him talk, Dan Calderon, and me and him talk, and he used to work for the Express News. He was on the education beat, and I'll pepper with some questions. I'll tell him what I'm doing and yada yada. And she comes in, she's just sort of like, hey, and she's like, oh, Miss La Prensa, it's been a while, and I just want to write. And I just look at her like, yeah, whatever.
Thank you.
And then but we start talking some more, and she's, I just want to write so badly. I want to do journalism some more, because she was there, helping out with the marketing side.
Oh,
so that's going out to events and manning the table and signing people up and giving brochures, stuff like that. So and me and Dan would talk, and Dan would tell me, hey, can you write this or this? I'm like, this is a lot to do. Can we give it to this chick? Because I forgot her name. And then, and then I'll leave, and what's her name again? And then Amanda. And so I'd come around and I'd find her. 'Cause she would like run. She would have different like little. She would sit at whatever desk was empty, and I found her. Hey, can you write this real quick? Because you know you like journalism. And then she's like, yeah, okay, and it was good. So and then again, you know, me and her would then be talking, and she was like, oh, I miss journalism so much. I miss it. I wish I was doing it right now. And then that's when I was like, you know, all right, you come with me to A&M, you know. No, I don't know. Because you did A&M for what? You did A&M for what, like semester?
English. I did it, didn't like it.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, we got a good program. We, you know, I run the paper. We really need people that are really into journalism because with the program, there's people that take the program that are going to PR, that are going to marketing, and it's just the way communication is. So she, no, I don't know. And then I'm like, just go.
Hey, he told me every day. He would message me every day. He'd be like, "Did you sign up for school? No. Did you sign up for school? No."
Yeah. So that was pretty much all throughout from like September through November. I'd be checking up on her. Mm-hmm. Hey, you signed up yet? No, I don't know. I'm like, dude, they're willing. You've been there before. You probably have all the credits. I'll take you in. No, I'll just go meet with the professor and talk with her. And she's like, okay. And she managed. Well, it's not that bad. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go to registration to get you signed up. Okay. And then she was registered. I signed up for class. I don't know which ones. Just take something. Just take reporting, and then we'll go. Mm-hmm. So then finally, after all was said and done, and no financial aid, but after all was said and done, we finally in the spring got her into the class, and then we made her an assistant editor. And now that I'm leaving, she's going to be taking over the reins as editor-in-chief. Yeah. So she's going to be the big dog ruling everything.
I think it's funny how things work out that way.
Yeah,
I'm so miserable at WellMed. Ugh.
Yeah.
Not that I hate WellMed. I hated what I had to do, and it was so disorganized. A lot of times, I get paid $15 an hour to fill up bags with goodies. I mean, that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, because it was a marketing job. Mm-hmm. It wasn't it was barely PR. It was really marketing. Yeah. So I mean, if you were a marketing major, I mean, everything that you're doing there is like right up your alley. Mm-hmm. But if you want to write stuff, you want to talk to people about stuff, you want to get to sort of the bottom of something, it's marketing, you know.
I did talk to some nice people there, though.
Yeah.
I met a lot of good older people. You know, I met a lot of fun people, but
you couldn't do anything with that.
Couldn't do anything with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a great story. Here's a bag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can do.
And then they'd fight with you because somebody got a toothbrush and the other one got mints. They're like, "Well, I want mints. Why did I get no?"
But so we got her out of there. So now she's here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good.
So
and I'm very happy. I'm just so happy. I haven't been happier anywhere else. I mean, I love La Prensa. It's got a special place. I was very happy there, but I'm just happier here. I love it.
Yeah, because you're around a whole group that's about your age.
Yeah.
Not my age. I'm a little bit older. But you're around a bunch of other students and people are interested and you're able to give some good insight.
Everybody's a good person here. You know, we can tell that everybody's a good person. They're really into it. The professors are just, Professor Townsend, Professor Moore just made me feel so welcome. You know, I just loved it. I just felt right at home. You and Ingrid and Jamie are really sweet. I mean, all our reporters are really great. The photographers they're friendly too. I mean, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, so we officially all the funk from the past few semesters, it's been cleaned out. It's been aired out. So all that funk that was slowing everything down, kind of gumming up the works. Now we're laying the foundation for the new Mesquite. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be exciting.
It is.
And I'll be in New York.
Yep, he'll be in New York.
I'll
be in Nueva York.
City that never sleeps.
Yeah, I'll be. Hey, what are you looking at? Forget about it. Hey.
You talking to me?
I want the gabagool. What do you mean you don't get the gabagool? I want the gabagool. Say the gabagool.
Cannolis. What else?
Rats that look like cats.
Rats, big rats, pizza rat.
Pizza rat, yeah.
Oh, jeez. I looked up like some, because I've been doing nonstop research about New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking up, and someone put a heat map of rats. So it tells you where like the most rat action is at.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's safe to say it's everywhere.
Rat action.
Safe to say it's everywhere, but like some of them should say like which apartments probably have more rats than others, and it's.
Oh, okay.
But it was also like locations, like you know like 8th Street in Middle Manhattan. It showed like, okay, this building had rats. These
They
had
all
less
have
rats. It's pretty crazy.
There's other fun things. I think of all the people. I mean, when I went, I've played mariachi there in New York. I had the greatest time. I met so many just different people from different countries, just immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
Met a pizza guy there. He served some of the best pizza I ever had. And you laugh. And he was from, I think he was like Colombia. I've met somebody there that was from Argentina.
Authentic Italian pizza straight from Colombia.
Be quiet.
No, I'm just saying.
He's a fun person.
Authentic Italian pizza from
just-
Colombia.
It's really cool. Like when you get out of your little safe spot. I mean, San Antonio is. I mean, maybe it sounds bad, but San Antonio is like a little Mexico. We're all so safe here. I mean.
I don't know if Mexico's that
if you're
safe,
Mexican,
right?
you feel safe here.
Yeah, if you're Mexican, we've never felt that discrimination or that different people here.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Indians or Arabs or anybody. I mean,
Well, I mean, I told my buddy. So my buddy's black, and he, during the whole Ferguson thing, and during the whole, he was like, I think I should be mad. I'm like, well, you're not mad. The reason why you're not mad is because you were in San Antonio, and it's like you were on the outside looking in, because I mean, is there there's definitely a whole poverty line. There's definitely like there's definitely issues, but it's like if you're a regular kid from the middle of the town, I mean, it's just whatever.
There's really not that much racism in San Antonio.
Yeah.
We're a pretty friendly city. We've never had to deal with a lot of discrimination. And I think it's cool when you go to New York because you're going to see a whole bunch of different people. It's going to be a whole new different experience. And I'm not saying discrimination, but just to see other people in other cultures and something that's not mariachi.
Thankfully for that. Thankfully, we're just... I'm sorry, I've listened to it for essentially about 36 years.
Every fiesta event, what is it, headlined with? Mariachi.
I know.
It works for me. It gets money in my pocket.
Hey.
Pumpernickel on the table.
Hey,
Whatever.
you know what? And she's in Mother's Day, she cleans up.
Oh, I
bet.
bank on Mother's
That's about
Day.
a month away.
Oh, that is my tuition coming in. Yes.
That's her Black Friday. That's just money coming in. Just go walk around the neighborhood and sing songs.
Oh, you do. It's great.
$100 a pop for a song. Da 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 da. Gotta go.
It's great. It's fun.
So I wanted to bring Mandy in so she could talk about that. And Jerry's going to be still heading up the podcast, and he'll give his own little spin to it. We work out everything.
Hopefully I'll have my own camera next semester.
Hopefully
we'll see what we
that'll
can
be figured out. Aside from that, though, I mean, right now, with me leaving, it's kind of like, I just know that all the stories are going to be coming in after I leave, especially with all the freshmen and sophomore coming in, because we don't have as much protest as I would like.
As many protests, it seems like?
wish we
editor-in-chief,
had-
as much protest.
Dude, I read up on all these college papers and all these.
Do we really want protests like that here?
There is at UCLA. There is a rule that you can't raise your hand because that's considered an act of violence.
Oh,
I'm not kidding.
I'm gonna just.
Okay, UC Irvine last year wanted to remove the American flag from campus because it was a sign of colonialism.
Colonialism.
Yeah. And there's colleges all across the country that have feminist bake sales or gender something bake sales where women pay 77 cents for like a cupcake, but a guy has to pay $1.
Why would you even pay 77 cents for
Because that's apparently
Do they have pennies?
apparently the wage gap. But that's the thing that I'm like, oh, if only we had that here.
Oh, great.
Not that I mean there's
To
stuff
make me
going
more
on, but it's
feisty?
I mean, you should see all the stuff that I read about, and it's such an interesting thing to talk about, and we just don't have it here.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think over here, like, what could be something that the students would protest here?
I don't know.
It's a very conservative. Right now, it's very conservative. I mean, we have so today we had some free pizza from Cornerstone on College. And so now we have 2 Bible study groups on college on campus.
Okay.
One on Monday, one on Thursday. So I'm like, it's a conservative campus.
You know what, Jerry? We're starting a rock and roll club here.
Rock and roll club.
Rock and roll club, yeah.
We'll meet on the same times. We'll practice right next to them.
Just jam band.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so it's gonna, especially with the freshman and sophomore, it's gonna get more active because you're gonna get younger people that frankly don't have other problems to deal with. So they're gonna take whatever small problem and make it a big deal.
Sure.
The pencils are not sharp enough. We need pencil sharpeners.
It's gonna be something like that.
I think once we get people who actually live on campus and they spend a lot of time around here, then we'll start finding things to nitpick and.
It's good. That's where it's so interesting. It's because you get to see how people change and how people interact and how people what makes people tick, and that's what I'm gonna be sadly missing.
Well, you could come back and teach when you're old.
It'll be a while. So aside from that, we're gonna be at Mesquite. We got some news stories coming up. What are some news stories, Mandy, that we're looking at?
Right now we're looking at Hot Wells. There's an old ruin on the south side of town. Hot Wells Conservatory was happening in place back in the early 19th century.
No, 20th century.
20th century?
Early 1900s.
Well, early 1900s.
That's multiple presidents. Teddy Roosevelt, right? Teddy Roosevelt.
Charlie Chaplin. Of those lights. And they used to go to this place. It was the hot spot. And it's a ruin now. And one of our reporters wrote a story on that. We have another story on millennials, people our age, and they're spending.
Yeah.
They're not
it's
spending.
Your age.
Oh.
Your age. Jerry's age, not my age.
We're working on that. We've got a couple of other ones.
Yeah, we have the
police ride. A couple of our reporters went out on the south side, and they went in the cop car. So we want to hear their.
Well, they
experience
weren't driving the
too.
cop car. They were in the back seat.
They were riding in the cop car. So we'd like to see their experience and their ride along. And what else do we have going on?
Yeah, we so Jake the Snake Roberts, Hall of Famer for the WWE, he stopped by campus last week, and we got the full video of that. It's a little disturbing. So, for wrestling fans out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I mean, Jerry was there taking pictures, and I've told him man about it. So Jake the Snake, he has a very, very difficult to stomach background where it is filled with abuse, literally from birth,
filled with abuse.
And it sort of dominated his life until essentially a couple of years ago when he finally was able to get fully cleaned up. But it's a hard thing to watch and listen because he's got a life.
It's the reality of abuse, though.
Yeah, I mean it is anything you can think under the sun abuse wise. I mean that guy's sort of gone through it, and it's in a way it helped him as a performer because he had to he
had something to fight for.
He had something to fight for. He had something that he wanted. He had attention that he wanted, and that he was able to go to a place psychologically that other people can't go to. But dude's messed up.
Now, do we have that video online for anybody that might be interested?
It's gonna go up. Okay. So we're gonna publish that. On a lighter note, we have from the Southside boxing gym. So a couple of reporters went over there and talked with the guy who runs it, the trainer, some of the participants.
He's training kids, isn't he?
Yeah, he's training kids for Junior Olympics. In case of San Antonio, San Antonio is a big sort of boxing city. Although we haven't produced many boxers, there's still a lot of boxing that goes on in the city. And a lot of boxing clubs. How old was I? I was 15 when I went to free boxing class. Remember, that's when a guy slapped me.
What?
Well, because there's this I forget what they call it. It's a ball that's suspended.
Like the speed bag?
No. It's suspended, so it's suspended to the ground and up top. And the whole thing about the ball is that you're supposed to go like bat, and you're supposed to kind of move around. It's a moving target. That's the whole thing. And I was just like bat, and the guy kind of looked at me. Put your hands up. Like, all right, bat. No, I was kind of doing like that. No, keep your hands up all the time. And like hey, taps me on the shoulder. Okay, I won't be here tomorrow.
Oh man!
But that's how I remember. I was taking kickboxing a few months ago, and that guy, me and him were talking. This one guy, me and him were kind of, he holding the punching gloves. And the mitts, and he said, he's like, yeah, I'm surprised people aren't putting their hands up more. You do it a lot. I'm like, yeah, well, I took boxing when I was younger. Yeah, I did the same thing. And I go, did they slap you as well? He's like, yeah, that's what they do. If you don't put your hands up, they slap you. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna learn about that, about that boxing club, and we'll try to get one more stories. We got some people that are going out to the Maverick Music Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be one of those people.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like online, if you complete a housing survey, you can enter a chance to win a MacBook Pro. Looks like Ingrid wrote a story on that. That's on the front page right now.
That's for free MacBook Pro. Those are expensive.
Those are very expensive.
So yeah, and then the housing is very interesting in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the next building that's going up is a STEM building. That should have been already worked on. We need to figure out what's going on with the delay, but. Yeah. With the STEM building, after that, then that's when they look for resident housing. So they're already talking about like what do people want? Do they want roommates? Do they want to be on their own? Do they want sort of multi-suites, dormitories? Do they want
shared bathrooms?
Shared rooms, shared bathroom. None of you guys have been in a dorm, right?
Well, I've been in some that weren't mine, but I've been in a few.
Yeah, I've been in a couple. Nope, do not like.
I don't.
I lived in my first year out of high school and in college. I lived in one. It was nice because it was a brand new dorm.
Oh.
So everything was nice and new. And then we went to where the previous dorm was, and it was just kind of ratty.
Yeah.
We had the nice one with the bigger beds and bigger rooms.
I'm familiar with the dorms from Our Lady of the Lake because I went there to play mariachi a little bit in high school. I was hanging out with those mariachis there, and some of them lived in the dorms, and my cousin lived in the dorms. She was going to school there. I'd look at him and be like, how can you live like this? No, not for me. Definitely
yeah, there's some that were kind of sketchy, but like I said, ours was pretty nice. Although we had the shared bathroom, so it was like, it was basically kind of like a sort of public bathroom in the building, just that it also had showers, and it'd be kind of awkward, just be up there playing games, like I just gotta go bathroom quick. So I go out, turn the corner, open the door, and you hear some girls like, it's like,
yeah.
And
so yeah, fill out that housing form if you don't want to be miserable living here.
Yeah.
Really.
We need that.
But that's where the MacBook Pro, and then like I said, Maverick Music Festival, that's happening this weekend, and that's this is like their second year, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
it's fairly new music festival.
Fairly new. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I had the Flaming Lips this year, Public Enemy.
So that's my key thing is Public Enemy.
I only listen to mariachi music. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's my Public Enemy was my first cassette tape.
Oh.
Which album?
Fear of a Black Planet. Way back when. So that's if it wasn't for the fact that it was a festival, I'd go. But I mean, festivals, I'm good. I'm good. I'll pass on by.
Now, if Carlos Santana was there, I'd be there in an instant.
He's not mariachi.
He used to be a mariachi.
Did he really?
He was a mariachi girl.
Dude, how long ago was that? That was like in the 50s. He must have been mariachi.
Hey.
In all the 60s, he was doing,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's still a cool story. Still cool.
Anyway, he's. Every time it's still he's one of the few people that you could tell just that he's playing, just the way he sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
it's
what?
pretty. Just the way he
Generous,
sounds,
man.
just the way his
Yeah.
guitar sounds.
Oh yeah, he's got that. So does Jimi Hendrix, man.
Well, I'm
It's that sound
saying
that
it's
you
just there's only a few people that are
There's an
that
iconic
are really
sound for
like
them.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like with Eddie Van Halen, if someone does Eddie Van Halen stuff, you really couldn't tell.
Mm-hmm.
If they play the same songs, you really couldn't tell. In the case of Santana, yeah.
Yeah, it's a unique sound.
Yeah. Is there a Santana album up here somewhere?
Not pretty much.
No,
good.
there's not.
We got Los Lobos though. They're pretty cool.
Los Lobos.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
a pretty cool band.
Well, I mean, if you like La Bamba.
Oh, they do a lot more than just La Mama.
That's how I know them
that's
from
what they're
the
known
from the
for,
movie
you know.
when they
If
did the
you don't know
soundtrack.
any of their own personal music, that's what you know them for.
La Bama. I guess you're right.
Pretty much. All right. Okay. So
What else we got going on?
aside from that, I think
I
we're
think that's it.
yeah. So yeah. So we'll go ahead and call it a week. All right. So for the Mesquite, make sure to follow the Mesquite at the Mesquite on Twitter, the Mesquite on Instagram, Mesquite News on Facebook, and mesquite-news.com. Follow Amanda at
Mariachi Mandy, MariachiMandi,
on Twitter and Instagram. Jerry at Jerry.
Got a black screen right now. It says at Jerry Quijano, so that's all you gotta see.
Yeah, and I'm Original Gamer 1 on Twitter. So for Amanda and Jerry, my name is Oscar Gonzalez. We will talk to you next week.